Welcome to Taiwan Talk. I'm Sheree Felice, and this week I'm speaking with Tang An, a campaigner for Greenpeace. Listen in as we talk about what Greenpeace is and what the organization is doing to help save the environment. If you could you explain a bit about what Greenpeace does and what it does in Taiwan specifically?
Okay, sure, no problem. I don't know how many people have heard of Greenpeace. We are actually an environmental nonprofit organization across the region, and we work on various issues in different regions. So you might probably seen or heard somewhere in the newspaper that, like for instance, Greenpeace's activists, they staged really huge shopping cart full of plastic trash in front of a company's headquarters, or they danced a flash mob in Dongchu to ask for the big fashion industry to ban using toxic chemicals in the products. So these are usually what people's first impression of us. So we try to use these creative, eye-catching actions to draw people's attention to the more serious issues that we are advocating. For example, in Taiwan, we work on three major issues. They are climate change, plastic pollution, and oceans. They're not usually most interesting or easy topics for the public, so we want to make the environmental issues more friendly to the public by using these creative actions. But we don't just do actions, we also advocate the government or the corporates through, for example, research or investigations. For example, we would, in the report, expose cases of pollution, or we do beach cleanups, and we would collect the scientific evidence of the beach cleanup results to the government, so we could ask them for better regulations on the pollution. So this is a simple, brief introduction of Greenpeace. And this year happens to be our 10th year in Taiwan. So we hope that we will work on more and more similar issues and try to make more people aware of the environmental issues that surrounded us.
I guess everybody knows the COVID-19 pandemic has been just ravaging the world. People are staying at home. A lot of countries are on lockdown. Taiwan was one of the few countries that didn't go on lockdown. But what I've heard from a lot of Greenpeace organizations internationally is that the lockdowns have actually been beneficial to the environment. Has it been the same here in Taiwan, even though we haven't gone into the lockdown?
Yes, I think, as you said, compared to many other countries, we're in a better situation because we're more precautious in the beginning, and so we had less cases, luckily. But we still find some worrying cases. The use of single-use plastics, especially the tableware, has increased dramatically during the past few months during the pandemic. So where are they from? They're mostly from restaurants or food delivery services, or beverage shops that we go every day. The reason why it's increased dramatically during the past few months is because that it's very obvious that the restaurants worry that the customers could be afraid to come eat at the restaurant. So they're thinking that if changed into single-use plastics, people might feel less worried. And for the food industry, it's obvious that a lot of people just don't go out. They don't want to go out, so they order food delivery instead. But to us, I would say this is somewhat understandable because we all want to be very cautious as possible. Nobody wants to get infected. But as an environmental organization, we want to tell people that simply switching to single-use plastics isn't going to solve the main problem, and it could sometimes overlook the most important thing. And we should actually pay our attention to the cleanness of the dining environment rather than just simply switch to single-use plastics. Because, for example, the servers, if they wash their hands properly or they wear masks when serving your food, that is the most important things that we should be paying attention to.
Well, speaking about using face masks, has that become a new problem in Taiwan now?
Yeah, we actually have seen cases when we do beach cleanups or parks. We actually seen that there are instances that people dispose of them in the environment. They don't properly dispose them after they use. So yes, this could be a huge problem here in Taiwan now.
So according to you, COVID-19 has not helped the environment here in Taiwan?
Well, we've actually seen some good cases because I think we've all seen that in the news that there are animals coming back to the environment because people go out lessly.
Yeah.
That is a good thing, but it also has its downsides, like I said, because some of the people tend to stay at home or they order takeout or delivery. So we should also pay attention to the single-use plastics that we use in our everyday life.
So we talked about single-use plastics. We talked about face masks. Would you say those are the two biggest issues facing Taiwan right now?
I would definitely say that single-use plastics is one of the big issues that we're facing in Taiwan. That's why plastics is one of the most important issues that we work here as Greenpeace in Taiwan.
So in this time of pandemic, with people using disposable face masks and wanting to try to be as safe as possible, what does Greenpeace recommend people do?
In order to raise awareness, we actually continue to talk about this through a lot of news channels or media. We try to tell people that actually whether the utensils you use, the tableware you use, whether it's single-use or reusable, if they're not properly disinfected before you use it, then they're not safe. So on the other hand, if it's properly disinfected, if you use reusable tableware, it can be as safe as possible. So last month, we saw that the Minister of Health and Welfare, he actually publicly said that it's absolutely safe to use reusable tableware if you washed it properly. So, and he also said that it could even be cleaner, more environmentally friendly than single-use plastics. So I think at this point, what we're trying to tell people is that you can protect yourself from the pandemic, at the same time also protect the environment by using reusable tableware to reduce the single-use plastic.
We're an island nation, so our ocean surrounds Taiwan, and basically a lot of animals have been found with plastic bags in their stomachs, and a lot of whales and dolphins and turtles have been found to beach themselves and strand themselves on the beach. Has that problem increased or decreased in the past few years?
I think it's definitely increased. We have seen in recent years that more and more cases of stranded animals like dolphins or whales found dead with plastics in their stomach. And maybe we've all seen the pictures of sea turtles with plastic straws in their nostrils or got stuck with plastic bags. So I think we've definitely seen more and more cases of this in the recent years.
Oh, okay. So if people want to get involved with Greenpeace, is there any volunteer opportunities or ways that people can donate to help Greenpeace and their cause?
Yes, you can do both. In our website, you can find information of becoming a volunteer or an activist. Activists can go to some of the actions that we do. You can do that with us. And of course, becoming a donor is absolutely helpful for us. So all these information, you can find it on our website.
What are some of the activities that you would do?
Previous years, we do a lot of beach cleanup activities. So we would invite our donor and volunteers to do this kind of work with us. And I think in recent years, we also do school talks, some of the education courses on topics of environmental change or plastics. I think these are all the activities that they could participate if they're interested.
I see. Okay, well, thank you so much for speaking with me. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Sheree.
That's it for this week's episode of Taiwan Talk. I'd like to thank Tang An again for joining me. Don't forget to tune in next week for an all-new episode. As always, remember to take care of yourselves. I'm Sheree Felice.